Hey guys, Chad here with the Reptile Rangers. We're here at the zoo today, the Colonelsville Reptile Zoo. We're here today and we're going to do something that's really fun. We're going to have some fun with some animals today. We're going to go through reptile and snake myths. Now, there's some myths out there that drive reptile experts like myself absolutely crazy, but unlike some of my colleagues who get bent out of shape when just the least little thing is said wrong, it's about education. So you know what? Let's go and let's have some fun giving some education and debunking some myths that surround reptiles and snakes and turtles. Now let's take a look and let's go through this wonderful world that is reptile. Now first, check this out. This little guy right here is the Central American black-banded snake. Now we call them the false coral snakes because they look a lot like a coral snake. All right, now we can talk about the coral snake, red and black is friend of Jack, red and yellow kill a fella. That's kind of how you tell the difference between the coral snake versus the milk snake or the scarlet king, anything that's related to it. Now, one of the myths that we're going to talk about right here, right now, is all snakes grow up to 20 feet. Not really. All right, we have a lot of species of snakes that stay really, really small. In North Carolina alone, we have 5 species of snakes that stay really, really small, like the brown snake, also known as the decays. We have the queen snake. We have the ringneck snake. We have the worm snake. We have the little red belly snakes. There's all kinds of snake species that stay really small. So one of the myths that we have to go through and debunk, not everything is a giant 20-foot Burmese python, anaconda, reticulated python. Not everything is a very large constrictor. Okay. Okay, and like Asia here, this is the Burmese python. And I mean, you can see this guy is only about 10 and a half feet. So even the giant snakes that can get to 20 feet don't always have to reach 20 feet. A lot of the times it's based on how they feed, what they feed on. If they feed on high protein stuff, high fatty stuff, they're going to grow bigger. If they eat more, they're going to grow bigger. If they eat less or more controlled, it's no different than humans. In humans, the more we eat, the more we grow. We can see that in a lot of America. The less we eat, the less we grow. We see that in a lot of third world countries, and we see that in a lot of poor areas where food may not be as plentiful. So the same thing happens. In captivity, we can control things a little bit more by giving them more food. They get bigger faster. A lot of breeders do that. By giving them more controlled diets, they grow more naturally, and maybe they stay a little bit smaller, given the species growth rate. Now, okay, myth number 2. Snakes or reptiles can only grow to the size of their enclosure. This is a complete myth. We've been singing this choir for years and years and years. People will come in, oh, well, I heard it'll only get to the size of this tank. No, it'll either grow, blow the tank out, or die due to a lack of space for movement for the animal. Snakes, for example, they grow their whole life. It may be minuscule, but snakes can grow and grow and grow, hence why they reach such large lengths. Now, other reptiles may not necessarily grow their whole life, but they will still grow. So in the event that you put, let's say, a iguana in a 40-gallon tank, he's still going to eventually reach 4 to 6 feet. It's not going to be comfortable and it's not going to be healthy from it. But the myth behind that is that, oh, we put them in a small tank and it'll stunt their growth. That is incorrect. They will grow to the size they're supposed to be at. Okay, myth number 3. All snakes can kill humans. Ah! I don't think so. This snake right here, there's no way this could kill a human being. All right. Now, some snakes, absolutely, they can kill humans if they wanted to. The Burmese can, the reticulated could, the anacondas can, and that's just from sheer size. It's not because they want to kill humans. It's not because they see us as prey items, because they don't. They do not measure us up to eat us neither. They are large snakes. So when they constrict, and there have been cases of humans being killed by their snakes, and yes, sometimes it's from eating hunger, yes, and it's from owner error, yes, owner mistakes. Typically, when an accident happens, it was human error, some way, somehow. But no, every snake cannot kill a human, and even if it did, it's not going to necessarily be able to consume a human. You got to think about it. They can't get past our shoulders anyways. We're not on the food chain. We're not on the menu. They don't see us as a food item. So even if they was to kill an adult human, they're not going to be able to take us down anyways. All right? Now, myth number 3. All snakes can kill humans. Incorrect. Remember, that little Central American bandit that I just had, it's not going to be able to kill us neither. Okay, myth number 4. So check this out. They say reptiles don't make good pets. Really? In the reptile world, bearded dragons are the #1 lizard bred in captivity for the reptile pet trade. Now, bearded dragons themselves make awesome, awesome pets. Again, there are a lot of reptiles, just like a lot of other animals. No, they're not necessarily the greatest of pet, and may take more expert care or a more expert style of person in captivity to be able to take care of certain reptiles. Now, there's a lot of good animals out there that do make good pets. Ball pythons can make good pets. They tolerate humans, okay? It's not that they love us. They couldn't care less. But they tolerate us. We feed them. We don't hurt them. So they get used to what is not a threat to them. Tortoises. Let's talk about tortoises. Tortoises make great pets as long as they're kept adequately. It's no different than any other reptile. You got to keep them in the right habitats. You got to keep them in the right temperatures. You got to feed them the right food. It takes time. You got to put the time into them. Most people aren't willing to just put the time in. They just want some cool pet. Here we go. Reptiles can make a really, really good pet, and tortoises can be very, very companion oriented. Come when they're called. You can hand feed them. They recognize their names. Tegus are known as the MacGyver lizard. Tegus are incredibly intelligent, especially the Argentines, and they get huge. They're very, very settled down. You've seen probably lots of videos on YouTube of red iguanas or tegus or other tegus, and they're just coming right up to their owners, and they're just being a loving pet. You got to remember what you're dealing with, though. You got to remember these are still animals. They're still wild type animals, so you have to respect them for what they are. But yes, they can make great pets. Myth number 6. All right, turtles cannot feel on their shell. Now this is false. I can't tell you how many people come into our zoo and they want to go up and go, "Can he feel that?" Well, can you feel when somebody knocks on your spine? All right, so check this out. This right here, you see what's on the inside of this shell? The spinal cord is literally attached to the back of the shell, which is called the carapace. Top shell, carapace. Bottom shell, plaster. Myth number 7. One of my favorite things that little kid asks, will it bite? Well, if it's got a mouth, it'll bite. Okay? Now, like my little buddy here, this is a Nile monitor. I love these things. They're so cute, especially the babies. They've got such big attitudes. But yes, if it has a mouth, it can bite. Does that mean that it will all the time? No. Myth number 8. All snakes are venomous. That is 100% incorrect. Only about 22% of the world's population of snakes is venomous. One of those being like the guy right here behind me, the king cobra. This is Solomon. Now, venomous snakes have venom for a reason. It's meant to be able to get their prey. That's the only reason they have venom. They have venom to begin with. It's not meant for defense. Think about if you get bit by something, you're not going to die instantly. You still have time to kill it. So remember, venom is not used as a defensive weapon. It's meant as a hunting tool, like a hunter's gun, a bullet, or a primitive person using a poison arrow blow dart to try and drop a primate or a bird or something that they're trying to eat. All snakes are venomous. Myth number 8. Myth number 9. All snakes will chase you. Well, I'm going to take... No, I'm not. I don't need to take off because snakes, no, they do not chase humans. There's only been a couple of times when a snake was being harassed by a human or a human was trying to kill it that it come at it in defense. Snakes are much smaller than we are. Think about it. That's like us going up and punching a rhino in the face. How's that going to work out? Not very good, is it? No. They are much smaller than we are. They are much more fragile than we are. So why tangle with something that's much, much larger than us? No different than a lion or an elephant or a rhino or a hippo. It's the same concept. We're going to come out on the losing end of that battle. Snakes tangling with us are going to come out on the losing end of that battle. Snakes do not chase humans. Okay, myth number 10. Chameleons. Man, ain't these things cool? Check this out. This guy's turning his Halloween colors. Yesterday was Halloween, so how fitting. Now, I can't tell you how many people come up to us at shows or at the zoo. Hey, can that thing turn red or can it turn blue? And this ain't a Valspar commercial, okay? No, they can't turn solid blue, solid red, solid yellows. No, they're not just going to walk up on a pair of sunglasses and turn that color. These guys use camouflage to talk, to communicate, and they also use it for some camouflage so that they can look like and mimic the leaves in the trees. Now, when these guys get to moving, they'll kind of move back and forth. It's a little chameleon strut. They move back and forth. They're trying to sway with the limbs and the leaves and the trees moving when the wind is blowing through and it's blowing the trees and it's moving the leaves and the limbs. And they're just trying to mimic and look just like that so that the predators don't come after these guys. Chameleons are amazing animals. They got these independently moving eyes that can look in any direction at any time. And they can focus on any direction at any time, looking in multiple directions. These things are absolutely amazing. Got this nice, great prehensile tail here. They can use that like a fifth limb, so it helps them hold on to the limbs. And then they have an incredibly, incredibly long tongue that shoots out, grabs their prey, and brings it back to them with an incredible accuracy. Can they propel those tongues? But anyways, this guy right here, myth number 10, chameleons can change to solid colors like reds, blues, and yellows. No, yes, they can turn slightly shades of blues like you see here. They can hit the yellows, they can hit the greens, they can get some red coloration to them. They can get all different kinds of shades of colors. But again, it's not going to be like the cool commercials we see on TV. Okay, myth number 11. This is a fun one. Snakes cannot bite underwater. Okay, well, last time I checked, they didn't go up, knock on the water, and ask the fish or the frog to come out on land. Yes, snakes like the water snakes, the cottonmouths, yes, they can bite underwater. They can envenomate underwater, and they can eat and catch their prey underwater. They don't swallow it under the water, but they catch it so that they can eat it under the water. Myth number 12. Milk snakes got their name because they milked cows. Lord have mercy. Can you imagine walking in your barn and seeing a snake hanging from the udder of a cow? No, that is not where they got that name from. That's how they were named because farmers always thought, oh man, he's in there milking my cow. No, they don't drink milk. They're in there because of mice, copperheads, and other food items that they would eat. Myth number 13. Old farmers used to see corn snakes in their cornmeal bags. That's how they named them because they're like, oh man, he's in there eating my cornmeal. No, they're in there eating the mice that's peeing and crapping. Mice cannot control their bladders, cannot control their bowels. Nobody wants something crapping or pissing in their food, do they? No, of course not. So the corn snake was going after the mice and rats that was in the cornmeal bags. Myth number 14, and the last one for this particular segment. Rattlesnakes, you can tell their age by the amount of rattles they have. That is absolutely incorrect. Rattlesnakes grow a button, as it were. Each rattle, they grow a new section to their rattle every time they shed. The more they eat, the more they shed. We have animals in our care that shed every 4 to 6 weeks. Every time the rattlesnake sheds, he grows a new button or section to his rattle. Now, in the wild, you might be able to get close to his age. Maybe they only eat 2 or 3 meals in a summer. Food's not as easy to come by as it is in captivity. But it's still done off of sheds. Every shed comes a new section to the rattle. No, you cannot tell the age of a rattlesnake by the amount of buttons it has on its rattle. This is reptile and snake myths debunked. Hope this helps in your learning of the animals that we find amazing.